All right, so this video is all about getting data out of a list. There's a couple ways. We've seen how to create them in the last video, but the data is just stuck in there. So to get it out, we first have to understand the way lists are ordered. So here's an example, a list called friends with 3 friends. Very optimistic for my friend situation. Let's just say I wouldn't need a list to store my friends. I could just get away with an integer, 0. So we have 3 strings here, Ashley, Matt, and Michael, 3 items in a friends list. Like ranges, lists always start counting at 0. So there's an order here. That's very important. In every list, there's an order. The first item is the 0th element. We call it an index. It has the 0 index. Then the index of Matt is 1, and the index of Michael is 2. So that's really, really important. 0, 1, 2. Lists always start at 0. Then, if we want to print out a particular piece of data, or we don't have to print it, we could save it to a variable or do something with it, we use square brackets after the variable named friends, and we pass in an index. So friends square bracket 0 is going to go to the friends list and say, hey, what's the 0th item, which is Ashley. Just like if we did 2, we count 0, 1, 2 to Michael, and that gives us Michael. And if we tried something like 3, which doesn't exist, we get an index error. So let's test that out now. I'll make a list called colors. Start off with purple, then we'll do teal, and then let's do orange. Okay? So to get a piece of data out, we use a variable name, and let's start with getting purple, colors 0. That gives us the string purple. And we could save it to a variable like the best equals colors 0. And now if we look at the best, it's purple. But it's important to note colors is unchanged. All that this does is retrieve the value. We're not deleting things, we're not extracting it or removing it. We're just getting the value out. Just like if we had a variable, x equals 10, and then I said y equals x is still 10. What have I done? And y is still 10. Okay, let me make some space here. We've got colors. So yeah, if we wanted to access orange, it would be 2, 0, 1, 2. And if we tried something like colors 3, we get list index out of range. It's basically Python saying, I don't know what you're talking about. You're trying to go past the list. Same thing like if we did 10. So you might think that that would apply to negative numbers as well, but it doesn't. So the way that a negative number works is that it's going to work backwards. So with the same friends list that we have here, Ashley, Matt, and Michael, if we did friends of -1, it starts counting backwards. So -1 is Michael. And Ashley is -3. So -1, -2, -3. And we get Ashley, but if we did -4, we get the same index error. So just to show that, let's do colors of -1, which gives us orange, the last item. And to get purple, it would be colors of -3. So going backwards, we start at -1. Going forwards, we start at 0. Of course, there's no such thing as -0, so we have to start with -1. Okay, so that's the basics of accessing values. The next thing I'll show you is a little side note. If you want to check if a value is in a list somewhere, there's a really easy way to do it. We use in, so if we have the friends list, I can say Ashley in friends, and that gives me true. Just like any comparison that we've done before with Boolean operations, equality, capitalization matters. It has to match exactly. And if we tried it with Colt, is Colt in friends? It's false. So let's hop over here again and do colors. And let's see if purple is in friends. Friends. Colors. That's true. But if I tried purple with capital P, it's not. And so we could do things like if teal in colors, if that's the case, let's do print, you have good taste in colors. Okay, I hit enter and we get you have good taste in colors because inside of colors is teal. Okay, so I'll end the video here. We saw a couple of important concepts. The first and most important, probably the most important part of lists in general, is that every item has an index. There's an order, and they always start at 0. The first item has an index of 0. We can access items out using array brackets, these square brackets. And if we try and go past the range, we get an error. We can use negative numbers to start from the end of the array and work backwards towards the beginning. And then we saw in at the very end